Welcome to Night Owl Video. I'm Stephanie. Thanks for tuning in again today. Today on the program? Today on this episode, we're going to be talking about Matt Reeves' 2022 The Batman, or in Canada, it can also be known as Le Batman. Yeah. So I have a lot of thoughts on this movie. I did a whole bunch of background research before I came to you with my review slash chat about this film. So I'll be giving you some background on the film and maybe a bit more detail. And maybe I will entice you to watch it or not watch it. I don't know. You'll have to wait and see. So before I dive into everything, thank you to everyone who subscribed, sent me really nice comments over the last couple weeks. Um, liked my videos. It's been great. I think I'm up to about 17 subscribers now, which is cool. Maybe we'll crack 20 by the end of the weekend. I don't know. We'll see. If you have friends or family that like movie reviews, you can always recommend my channel. I would not be upset by that. So before I start in on my review of the 2022 Batman, I thought it would be pertinent to tell you that I grew up in a different time. So I was born in 1970. So when I was a little kid, Adam West and Burt Ward were my Batman and Robin, and they have always been sort of my favorite iteration of Batman. Yeah, and when I was a kid, I took this show very seriously. Obviously, as an adult, I realized the camp factor and all that, but it should be known that Adam West took this role very seriously. In interviews with him and articles about it, he took that role very seriously, even though to some, it might look very cheesy, or probably to most. But anyway, it was so lovable. How could you not love Batman '66? Anyway, I just wanted to point that out because I kind of maybe have a different perspective on it than maybe some younger folks who didn't grow up with this, or even the Michael Keaton Batman, or even Christian Bale for that matter. So, but I have always loved the character of Batman. When I was a kid, I had some comic books, not a lot, but I had a few, and I loved those comic books. And like I said, I watched this on TV every day after school religiously. Then when I got into my late teens, then we had Michael Keaton, and then we had Val Kilmer, and then we had all the other iterations up until this latest version. So I've seen Batman go through some different changes cinematically. Now um, I'm not a comic book nerd, but I do respect and appreciate the art form. I've even dabbled in it myself, but I am not like I never collected comics or anything. But I always loved Batman for so it's just the character. I love the character. So going into this movie, I didn't really know what to expect. I had been told that it was kind of like a darker version of Batman and all this, but to me, the Christopher Nolan's trilogy was already dark to me. Like that was like compared to say, especially the '89 into the '90s Batmans, the Christopher Nolan one was like, well, this is like real serious and real dark. So when they said this one was even more dark, I thought, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. So I went to the theater on a Friday afternoon, a rainy Friday afternoon in late winter. I was really tired from work and everything, and I sat in the movie theater in a matinee, and I watched the film. I did fall asleep once. I just was so exhausted. It was just a terrible idea to go see it then, but when I came out, I was like, that I don't like that movie. It's not for me. It's not my Batman. Maybe it's for a younger generation or for fans of a darker tone. I was just like, I can't get into this. What's weird is I bought the Blu-ray when it came out this past Tuesday, and I watched it yesterday, and or sorry, I guess when I post this video, it'd be 2 days ago, and I kind of loved it actually. It kind of blew me away. So I posted on Instagram saying like, have you ever watched a movie and had strong feelings one way, and then you watch it a second time and you have like a really different reaction to it? Well, that's what happened to me with this film. Did not like it in the movie theater. Kind of fell in love with it watching it on my TV. It's a movie, that you have to pay really close attention to, but I'm going to get to that in a few minutes. So, this was directed by Matt Reeves. Um, I don't really know a lot of the other movies he did. I kind of forgot to look that part up. Um, it stars Robert Pattinson, who was in the Twilight movies. I think I only saw the first two Twilight movies. I kind of checked out on that one, but I didn't mind them. Zoe Kravitz, who is Lenny Kravitz's daughter. She's amazing. John Turturro. The cast in this movie is well stacked and a lot of surprise appearances. Andy Serkis, Colin Farrell, who's completely unrecognizable. Uh, really, really diverse cast, but a lot of well-known actors. I thought John Turturro was outstanding in this. Um, Apparently, originally Ben Affleck was going to write, produce, direct, and act in a new standalone Batman movie, but in 2017, I'm wearing my Batman shirt too. Apparently he backed out, and so he just said like somebody else can have a shot at it. So I think it was like he was dissatisfied with the script or something, so he just abandoned the project. Um, and then interestingly enough, a whole slew of really amazing directors were sort of like singled out to possibly direct this new standalone Batman, including Denis Villeneuve of Blade Runner 2049 and Dune fame, and The Arrival, and like a bunch of other great movies. Um, George Miller, Ridley Scott, and like a bunch of other people, but Matt Reeves was eventually chosen. Reeves decided he didn't really like the story that was written um, with Ben Affleck, so he decided to do some rewrites, is my understanding. And so he based his story more on some comic books, and the only one I really know is Year One. But there's The Long Halloween, and I think the other one was Dark Victory, which were graphic novel, Batman graphic novels. So he based his story using those as kind of like reference points. Like I said, I've only read Year One. I did like Year One. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee from my doggo mug. Again, President's Choice. Great Canadian blend with some almond milk, delicious. Um, and so he based his story more on those comic books. I don't know what Ben Affleck's story or script looked like, but anyway. And then he sort of based some of the traits of the Riddler, played by Paul Dano. Oh yeah, I didn't mention Paul Dano. Paul Dano, um, on the Zodiac Killer. Some of you may know of that famous serial killer, but he was a costumed character, wrote ciphers and all these riddles to like local press and stuff like that. So he was reading about the book called Mindhunter, which I think is based on the Zodiac Killer story, and that's where he got some of inspiration for the Riddler. So I thought that was really cool because I didn't really pick up on that when I was watching it, but as soon as I read that, I was like, oh yeah, that makes way more sense. Um, so yeah, and then he also wanted to base this version of Batman on kind of more like a Batman in his early days. I think it's supposed to take place like maybe 2 years into his crime fighting days, and so it's kind of like this very rough Batman. He sort of doesn't know where to draw the line between Bruce Wayne and Batman. He's kind of like seems like he's always kind of like conflicted in the movie, and very brooding, and so that was kind of like where he got the that version of Batman to portray in the movie. Um, yeah, and it also focuses more on Batman's detective skills, which is another thing that sets itself apart from the other iterations of the Batman cinematic universe. In that there's a lot of scenes with him, like with the police investigating. I will say another interesting aspect was they kind of made the tension between Batman and the police really palpable and really intense. In fact, to the point where there's like physical altercations between Batman and the police, and a lot of the police don't trust him or don't like him. And if you look back on the other Batman movies, and especially if you go all the way back to the 60s, I mean, Batman was like the police department's friend kind of thing. In this one, it's very different. They're very kind of at odds. This is a really gritty film. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This is even the color palette in the film um, is very, very dark, and lots of shadows, and it's very gritty. So this is not your mom's Batman. This is like a whole other thing. For me, as somebody who's a little older, um, wasn't quite prepared at first. I have since, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, I've come to really like it. But it was so dark, it kind of threw me off a little bit because I thought Christopher Nolan's Batman was already quite dark. So yeah, so this is very gritty. Batman's car is like a modified muscle car. I don't know exactly what kind of car it is, but it's like all modified and jacked up, and but it looks like an old, like a, or it is like probably a '60s or '70s muscle car that's been kind of all, I don't know, like how you would say that, like not steampunk, but like looks like things have been welded on, and it's just kind of junky looking and really gritty. Real. I think when people used to lament on the original Star Wars series, they used to say that like the reason why those movies were so appealing is you felt like you could reach out and touch things in that universe, and this is really like that. I mean, even with the story and the characters and the cityscape, it's like this is really grounded in like real world stuff. Um, even the character, even the bad guys, they don't wear like flashy suits and stuff. It's like the Riddler's just got like a mask from like a military surplus store, and like just dressed in black. And the Penguin's just like a gangster. Like they're not like in the old movies where they were really stylized in that. So this is like real world kind of stuff. I kind of thought, like when I was watching it, I was thinking, I wonder if Matt Reeves was kind of trying to like keep this kind of grounded in the same way that the Joker movie was with Joaquin Phoenix, where it's more like real life and more realistic and less like fantasy, which is okay by me. I mean, some people probably didn't like it, but I like that idea. And I mean, both of those movies, the Joker and the Batman, are both, I've heard referenced as like taking a lot of elements from '70s movies like Taxi Driver and things like that. So I'm all down with that. I mean, Taxi Driver is one of my favorite movies. So the grittiness, the '70s cinema kind of feel, it's all good for me. So I don't. That was just my own thought. I don't know if Matt Reeves actually thought, hey, I should make this gritty and realistic like the Joker. But damn, that's good. So this movie was originally going to be released last summer of 2021. Then it got pushed back to the fall, and then it got pushed back to this past winter. And the filming actually got delayed for some time as well. When the pandemic first hit, they were starting the filming, so the production shut down for some time. So this movie's had a bit of delay, and kind of like the hype has been there, but like then it's kind of like delayed, and so you're waiting for it. And maybe that was part of the problem. I was just anticipating it too much, and then it was so dark, and I was so tired. I just, but anyway. There's some really cool. The soundtrack in this thing's really cool. It's got like kind of a repeating theme, like a lot of movies do. It has the Nirvana song in it, "Something in the Way," which plays, which is really haunting in some scenes. And it also has some like kind of like jarring, almost like horror movie jump scares, like the little like, um, how would you say that, like little sound stabs, like jarring. That happened 2 or 3 times in the movie, and it actually, like, I was like, it worked really well in this film. Like, it's not a horror movie, but it added some of those elements in it to give it a bit more liveliness. So I thought that was really cool. So yeah, my general feelings on this film are it was really good. It's very long, so it's almost 3 hours long. So be prepared for that. It's one of those movies that, like, I think also I wasn't prepared for the meditative aspect of it, and like the class struggle between the characters, and like the ways that different people develop depending on their class um, sitting or whatever. So there's a lot of stuff in there that I think, like, on a second watch, and maybe even if when I watch it again, I'll get even more out of it. But there's definitely some things there that are worthy of thinking about or unpacking. And I think maybe I wasn't prepared for that going in. I thought it was just going to be a big dumb action movie, but this is like the thinking man Batman. This is the detective Batman. This is the gritty 70s Batman. This is the, you know, uh, fighting with himself internally, like the struggle of who he's going to be. Um, and so it's a thought-provoking movie in that sense, for a superhero movie especially. And so I would encourage you to really go in with kind of a zen kind of a thing, go in thinking about the movie, really pay attention to the movie. It is a bit of a mystery as well, so you have to pay attention to a lot. There's a lot of exposition in the film, which explains what's going on behind the scenes. So really dig in there when you're watching it. This isn't like the Avengers. This isn't like a big, colorful explosion on the screen. This is like a dark, brooding, contemplative kind of thing. So encourage you to look at it from that perspective. Now the edition I got is just the Blu-ray DVD and digital code combo pack. This is the one that I got. So the artwork's kind of cool. I like the design they did with the new Batman logo. And then there's the DVD version, and then this is the special features, and it's written kind of like in the Riddler font, which is kind of cool. And then there's the digital code. Look, there's even a picture of the Joker on the inside, so maybe I wasn't that far off. There are other editions of this film, like I don't know about in Canada, but some of the people I follow in the United States, there's like Walmart exclusive, there's steelbooks, there's gift packs, there's all kinds of different things. So I think in my local store I just saw this Blu-ray, the 4K, which I didn't really like the slip as much as this one, and then the DVD, which actually the DVD actually had a really cool cover art, but this is it. There's the back. I don't know if I'm not good at getting that to like zoom in or whatever. The special features are Vengeance in the Making, a making of documentary featuring cast and crew, deleted scenes with director's commentary, which I haven't actually watched any of the special features yet, so I don't know if that includes the outtake with the Joker that they released after the movie came out. Anatomy of the car chase. Oh yeah, I didn't mention the car chase. There is an amazing car chase in this film, which is definitely one of my highlights. Batman Genesis, becoming Catwoman, and more exclamation points. So I'll have to dig into those special features as well. I was just mostly excited to talk about the film, and I know a lot of people are going out and getting this in the store, so I thought I'd give you my 2 cents worth. So yeah, I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5, hands down. If you don't like it the first time, give it a second watch. I think like it'll grow on you. I feel like the more watches I give to this, I'm going to get more and more invested. And you probably should, because guess what? That's right, there's sequels coming. I read that there is going to be a trilogy, or this is going to be a trilogy. So I believe the next one will probably be the Joker, because that's, like I said, they released a deleted scene with the Joker. So I'm going to assume that's what the next chapter is. After that, I don't know. And I think the original cast is coming back, as far as I know. So, and I don't know when that's coming out. So, but probably in the next year or two, while it's hot. The Batman 2022, definitely highly recommend. You can find this at your local department stores. And I think you can stream it on Crave, and you can probably buy it digitally as well if you really want. Me, physical media all the way, baby. So I went out on Tuesday and got my copy. Very happy with it. So if you have any of your own thoughts on the film, I'd love to hear what you think. Or if you're watching other movies and you think I might like them based on my reviews so far. I have a pretty wide taste, as you can tell. I like silly things, and I like very serious things. So if you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing to my channel if you like movie reviews and thrifting videos. Give me a like if you want. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want. That's okay. But mostly I'd love to get some comments going in the comment section about your thoughts on the film, or your thoughts on my review, or anything like that. So thank you for tuning in once again to Night Owl Video. I will be back probably Tuesday with my Cult Movie Tuesdays, and this week I am featuring the film Rumblefish. So maybe a movie you don't know, or maybe you're very familiar with it. It's a great cult film from the 80s. So I'm going to be doing my thoughts and reviews on that coming this Tuesday. And if I get out for some thrifting, maybe a thrifting video between, but we'll see. I don't want to overpromise. And I kind of like, it's going pretty good now every 2 or 3 days. So thank you again for watching. Stay tuned to the channel for more updates, and follow me on Instagram at Night Owl Video, and I will see you in the video store.